is good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and it has been far too long. It's been almost a month since I put out a new episode, but glad to be back with you. Just going to talk about some things that happened, well, since we last spoke. So, hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving was really good. It was real low key. It was just me and my parents went over to their house, and we had us some delicious food in an amazing conversation. So I was on Brussels sprout duty like I am every year. And Mom, she prepared the most delicious, just juiciest, briniest turkey I've ever had in my life. She really did the thing with that turkey. It was so moist. I mean, even the breast, like 1 or 2 days later, it still retained that moisture. She's a wizard with that turkey. So shout out to you. And Dad, as he always does, he's a wizard with them yams, boy. I tell you, whew, good time was had. So we had yams, Brussels sprouts, the turkey, I should say. Had dressing. Dressing was good. The giblet gravy too. That giblet gravy on top of the turkey, just A1, chef's kiss. And she had apple pies, and she made a cake. It was just beautiful experience. And just equally as good as the food was the conversation. We really got into a very in-depth musical conversation. You know, we talked about, I don't know how we got on the subject of Jimi Hendrix, but we spent an inordinate amount of time talking about the guitar legend. And we all shared things about him that we weren't privy to. Like, I told them that he was a paratrooper in the Army before he started his musical endeavors. And I don't think Dad knew that, and that blew his mind. And we were just talking about him getting to start with the Isley Brothers and how his style of play was really, it felt like it was almost like he was in a box, you know, playing with the Isley Brothers. He really couldn't creatively branch out the way that he really wanted to. And we also talked about how Mom and Dad talked about their experiences going to live concerts at a young age, and you know, them sharing stories that I wasn't familiar with, like them going to see Maze and Frankie Beverly at the Gilliard Auditorium. And unbeknownst to me, they were like, yeah, we went to go see them perform, and they weren't even together yet. Like, they didn't know, they weren't familiar with each other yet, but they just happened to be in the same place at the same time, but they met later on in life. And Mom talking about going to see Al Green at the Township Auditorium in Columbia, and she was like, man, he came out on stage with a wheelbarrow full of roses and just threw the roses out to all the ladies that were in the front row. And it was just really neat hearing their account of the numerous concerts that they went to go see at the Gilliard Auditorium and at the Township Auditorium. And keeping it on the subject of food, I'm curious because I made this Facebook post a couple days ago, and I just had I asked people what's their favorite appetizer. And for me, my favorite appetizer, initially I said mozzarella sticks, but I have to switch up my answer and say it's spinach dip, because whether you prepare it hot or cold, it's still fire to me. I love spinach dip. And I say mozzarella sticks probably have to be number 2. Love fried pickles, that's a good one. Queso dip, man, chips and salsa. So many choices. But that fried pickles is a super underrated appetizer. So, yeah, I'm curious as to what your favorite appetizer is. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment letting me know what your favorite appetizer is, because I'm super curious as to what it is. And also over this past weekend, I unexpectedly had a tweet go extremely viral. So this past Saturday night, I saw this video. It was a video posted on Twitter where It was a cat and dog just having a good random playful time, and the cat was teasing the dog, getting it to try to play with him, and while the dog is being active with the cat is just pawing at him like this. And I just left a comment saying the cat was moving like a boxing trainer with focus pads on, which he was. And it really was the results of that tweet really is a testament to how people are enamored with cats, because I did not see these reposts and likes blowing up as much as they did. I posted that it was 6:59 p.m. Last Saturday. So as of right now, it has 21.6 thousand reposts. It has 273,000 likes. It has 9.9 million views. I just cannot wrap my mind around that. That is crazy. 9.9 million views off that random ass tweet. And also, keeping it Twitter, I have a theory about the people that make the most incendiary and just most head-ass tweets. 9 times out of 10, you look at their profile pic, their baby hair is prominent in their profile pictures. And it's always the ones that'll leave a tweet that'll say some shit like, I don't know, like a man that drinks water is so sassy to me. It's like them women. They always got some foolish shit to say in order to garner attention and get likes. And y'all gotta stop entertaining that. Y'all gotta quit keeping their lights on, especially the ones that have the blue checks attached to their name. But that's another story for another day. And also coming up, I have another trip to Cincinnati that's in the books that I'm so ready to make my way back there. I had such a great time. If you didn't hear the previous episode, it's the You Ain't Method Man, aka Thank You Cincinnati episode of Since We Last Spoke, and where I recap my trip to Cincinnati that I had back in September, I believe it was. But yeah, I'm going back there mainly because the Cincinnati Art Museum has a new exhibit which showcases the works of my all-time favorite black and white photographer, who is a guy by the name of Ansel Adams. And shout out to my sister, because she was the one that really put me on to his work. But I love his work so much. Oh my God. He's just such a master of photography. Just the tones that he uses with his images and the composition is really a feast for the eyes. And I cannot wait to see those works in person. So yeah, Cincinnati, I'll see you again in the beginning of the year. And lastly, Spotify just put out their Spotify Wrapped, which lets people know that what their most listened to artists and songs and podcasts were. And I got to give a big shout out to my man Dr. Claw and my man Dro, because they sent me a screenshot, and Since We Last Spoke was in their top 5 most listened to podcasts. So I appreciate them a great deal. I think my podcast was the 3rd most listened to podcast with Dr. Claw, and my podcast was the 5th most listened to podcast with my man Dro. So again, shout out to y'all, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I tell you what, it's been far too long to step away from this mic, and I can tell I'm a little rusty, but I'm gonna get my bearings again. I'm going to put out another episode at some point this month, and then I'm gonna just take my foot off the gas. But January, we back at it with a full vengeance, and there's going to be new episodes. There's going to be new episodes of Since We Last Spoke, and At the Plate will be making its return in January as well. And also, this Sunday, I'm going to be taking a candle making class. It's something that I've always wanted to do. My friend Liz, who is one half of the Growing Up Low Country with Liz and Danny podcast, her and her husband run a mattress business out in North Charleston called the Charleston Mattress. And on this Sunday, they're having a lady come in to conduct a candle making class, and she sent me the information. I'm like, oh, I'm there. So I'm definitely going to talk about that experience on my candle podcast, which is a wicked good time with Danny Foxworth. So again, thank y'all so much for listening. Make sure you download, or subscribe to Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me there at Danny Foxworth 843, and you can find all the video versions of all the episodes for every single podcast that I do, which is this one, the aforementioned At the Plate, Growing Up Low Country with Liz and Danny, and Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. And until next time, y'all be good. Peace.